Okay, so the stream should be back. This will be part 2, which is Kerbal Space Program, which I'm using as a filler while we wait for other people to get ready for Pirates of the Burning Sea later. So quite a few people have been asking if I'm going to go to Minmus, which is the outer moon. I think to achieve that I'm going to have to, let me just select the right one here, it's that one. I'm going to have to refine my rocket technology quite a bit. The main problem with this rocket design, which you're about to see, I will explain before we have liftoff. Someone's asking if I had read Orchestra 2. Indeed I do. Okay, let's just wait for this to finish loading in. Okay, so some of the changes. Last week you saw this bottom section just dropped off entirely, so I've got all sorts of strengthening reinforcement bars in now to make sure that actually sticks. It doesn't drop off and I don't lose all the thrust there. What else did I do to it? It was mostly strengthening and reinforcing, but I also shifted the legs around slightly so they're at a slight angle and put another set on each one of these pods. So we now have 16 legs instead of 8, because the one time I have made it to the moon, even going stupidly slowly, when I touched down, the weight of this top module just crushed a couple of the legs. So I've sort of reinforced that area by putting more legs on so it should distribute the weight better. But the main problem with this rocket design is pretty much the pencil of death portion of it. It's fine taking off, it's fine starting to establish the orbit, but then when the outer 8 liquid fuel tanks jettison and there's just that one left, it's just not got enough force for the mass that engine is trying to push. I think it's completely fuel inefficient and probably stopping my orbital part of this endeavour. So I we'll probably need to stage it all a bit better, or maybe just redesign that center section a bit. What's going on with altitude? It's wiggling around because it's not perfectly balanced, because it's standing on a structure that's moving. It will fix itself once we get going. This shouldn't be too loud, but I'll just quickly check the settings. Now we're at 2%, so we should be fine. This will lag a bit CPU wise, it's not the stream. Just until these solid boosters disappear because of the amount of flames and physics it's trying to work out when they go off. So, the Kerbals are perfectly calm. This is probably the only time you will see them look like this. So let's get this going. Hopefully nothing drops off. Flames everywhere. See a lot of slowdown. Is the next stage fired? Yeah, next stage is fired. My CPU is not liking having to calculate all these things and try and process the live stream. But it should calm down once this final booster stage disappears. I have no idea what the Altimeter is trying to do. Right, that's that stage disappeared. So now we have the slow, steady climb to orbit. This Kerbal, for some reason, is happy. The reason this is lagging compared to if I was playing in non-streaming is obviously my PC, I stream through the same PC I play through. So it's trying to calculate all of these things on the CPU and then do all of the compression and all of the stuff the live stream needs to run. So that's why that bit is exceptionally laggy. And I'd imagine these two are meant to have numbers in. So we're probably at about 9,000 meters. So the setup I have is these outer fuel tanks. If you have a look here, you see these yellow pipes, they have little red arrows pointing inwards. So the top tank here will be feeding into this middle one for the central rocket, which is why you're seeing double the amount of fuel tanks you'd expect to see emptying here, and they're emptying in different rates. So the slow emptying ones are these top ones feeding into there, and the fast emptying ones are the ones down the bottom feeding the actual engines themselves. What processor do I have? It's an i7 930 or a 920, something like that, and RAM I have 12 gig in at the moment. In terms of design, again, I've got a similar thing here. The two central tanks you can't really see in here feed these outer ones to then feed the little rockets for the lander section. So, we're waiting until this gets to a useful altitude. I could play Red Orchestra on the next stream if it will run nicely in windowed mode. I need to, I'll have to do some checks to check it runs in windowed mode, but I will do my best to investigate. My computer make, it's Malakith Skadi brand, I made it myself. If I had a sensible logo to put on it, I could do that, but I am really struggling to come up with a logo that I like for my channel. The one that's on there as an avatar at the moment, I'm not particularly happy with, but I still can't think of anything that I feel represents my channel well enough in a small, was it 500 by 500 pixel image that's still readable. I like the background I've got on my channel, but I just don't like the avatar I've got at the moment. So if anyone has any ideas, feel free to message me on YouTube with them. We're starting to get to about 50,000, which is when I want to start rolling this over. The other thing I did was I inverted the W and the S, so it's less like an aircraft and more like up is up and down is down, because I'm steering off of this as opposed to steering off of the ship. So let's roll this over. Stick with there for now. So if we have a look at the map, you can see we're starting to establish an orbit, and if we line it up with the moon's orbit in the distance, they're almost parallel. There's a slight rise on the planet side, but it shouldn't be enough to throw off my intersecting. You can see the amount of debris that's going on all over the place now. I really should start clearing this out. But so this is Minmus here, which is what someone was asking if I can get to, but as you can see it's quite a considerable distance. It's not actually that hard to go that extra distance in terms of fuel, but the problem is getting back again from that distance and getting there without intersecting with the first moon. What's going on here? Have we run out of... Nope, we're still going. Okay, let's roll this over a bit more. We don't need any more altitude. Fuel's about to finish, so this section will disappear, which is one of my favourite parts to watch. We get this sort of view, and then away it goes to fall back to Earth. As you can see, the stability at this point, it's a wobbly pencil of death. It's wobbling all over the place. The way to make sure they take off if you're doing them large is to make sure you have lots of distribution at the bottom, so that it spreads the weight. You're not putting all the weight on a single thruster, and then reinforce them to everything using the sort of iron bars. You can't really see them because they've all broken off now, but these things, there they are. These iron bars in here, as you can see, I've got them absolutely everywhere like a spider web to just reinforce everything to everything else. Yeah, this Kerbal is just a lunatic. see, how's my orbit going? Not too bad. Someone's asking about Shogun 2 on the stream again. Unfortunately, to stream anything it needs to be in windowed mode, and Shogun 2 does not like Windows mode. I can do Napoleon quite happily, but Shogun 2 does not like windowed mode. I would love to do it because I do really enjoy Shogun 2, but unfortunately not. Do I have Rome? No, that is the one Total War I do not have, but they are bringing out Rome 2, so I can remedy that in the near future. Well, I wouldn't say near, but you know what I'm getting at. We skipped the multiplayer this week for the reason that the big patch came out with all the combat updates, and it turns out a lot of people have been having problems with checksums as well, so multiplayer has been a bit of an issue. It also gave people with Sword of Islam, including myself, the chance to go play it. As you saw, I was up late last night getting the first Sword of Islam Let's Play out on YouTube, and it received no more than the usual amount of views, so that was my time well spent. But, you know, it was worth a try. So let's just continue to increase this orbit here. So you always want to look for this little symbol with the yellow sort of plain sort of looking symbol that doesn't have the cross through the middle to increase your orbit and line up with it, which is the bit I'm doing badly at the moment. It would be interesting to see how they did a modern Total War game, but I'm not sure how well it would work. Come on, orbit. Establish. It's getting there. It's creeping slowly. I haven't played Medieval 2 for a very, very long time, but I definitely do own it. It's in a box somewhere. It's that old. It's before Steam. Okay, let's see what altitude this is. Once this gets up to a reasonable altitude, it should, well, once it gets higher than this one, it should flip round. You'll see these two spin. Here it comes. Let's just line that one back up again. So it is possible to fly in this view by pulling up this little window at the bottom here. Have I played the Elder Scroll games? I played Oblivion and Skyrim. I never played the ones before that. Let's see, how's my fuel doing? I have 2 tanks left. So something definitely went wrong with this lift-off, as it was not my most efficient by a long way. I do have Victoria 2. I bought the Paradox catalogue at Christmas, I believe it was last year, for £56 and got 83 games or something ridiculous. So I pretty much own everything Paradox up until Christmas, and then since then anything I've bought specifically, such as Crusader Kings. I didn't particularly get on with Hearts of Iron or Victoria 2 very much. They just didn't seem to have as many interesting events as Crusader Kings. I tend to prefer Crusader Kings and the way it focuses on the people rather than the country. Something coming up on the itinerary will be Ghost Recon. I'm going to be doing a 4-player co-op with, well, American Highlanders, which you can find in my sub box, and a friend. So he's from the 77Y, but he doesn't have a YouTube channel. Chad hasn't got it, so unfortunately I can't do that with him. On the note of Chad's channel should be launching on Friday, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll be doing a video to support him. So I believe his opening video is one of his old-time live casts from the original Tribes, just to sort of show what he's capable of when he gets into commentator mode. But I won't spoil the fun too much, as it's a sight to behold. Oh, that's what I wanted. That's a moon encounter. So I can save my fuel now. When does it happen? Is it this orbit? I can't quite work it out. I think it's on the next orbit. Or is it? Nope, nope, that's definitely this orbit. So we can start worrying about the moon now. How many people in 77Y? We probably have about 80 active. A lot of people are away on leave at the moment due to exams and holiday. But there's probably 80 to 90 active members. We are accepting applications at the moment. If you go to the tutorial section on my YouTube channel, you'll find where to apply and how to apply. Someone else can answer all the questions about the 77Y in the channel. How many people can you get in a round in Napoleon Wars? You can do 100 versus 100 at the moment. In Mount and Musket it used to be 125 a side. I haven't played Civilization 5 Gods and Kings. I kind of got bored with Civ 5 rather rapidly after buying it, so I didn't feel the expansion could really expand on that too much. Everyone's saying my name randomly. Let's just pause this a second. Okay, nothing, they're just trolling me. Nothing unusual there. So we're about to intersect with the moon, but you guys will have seen this bit before. It's me not ploughing straight into the moon that we're waiting to see. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. So we're about to encounter the moon, which is what I want. Once we're there, I can start slowing down and changing this orbit. There we go. We've encountered the moon. Now, if I was to do nothing, we would end up on that orbit, which is what the yellow line means. But I'm not going to do nothing. I'm going to turn my ship, which is what I'm doing down here. In fact, I will flip back to this view just so you guys can see it. It's a bit more interesting to watch. And we have some happy Kerbals. The sun is there. I will show you where it is on the map view when I go back. I've overshot completely. Trying to change direction in space when you have no thrust at all to help you steer is very hit and miss. So let's try and line this one up. Okay, that's that lined up. Back to the map view. So where's the sun? The sun is that way. If we zoom all the way out, you can see this is the orbit of the planet, and this is the orbit of the capsule that got stuck in a solar orbit after slingshotting off the moon. They're not coming back anytime soon. I think actually their best hope of returning is when the game developers put in another planet that orbits this sun, they happen to intersect it, get grabbed by its gravity and get stuck in there as well. So let's do what I was supposed to be doing and start lining this up for landing on the moon. So it's up the thrust, and you should see all these start to pull in different directions now, except they're not going to because I'm out of fuel on the pencil rocket of death, so that can disappear and we can fire off the smaller ones. And away we go. So it all elongates out, then hooks around, and we end up in an orbit on the moon. All goes crazy for a bit. If this actually intersects with the moon, that'll be good because I'll be on the bright side. Come on, do it, do it. Don't join up just yet. Yes, there we go. Now, let's just have a quick look at the comments. Someone was going to get this game, but it's $15. Yes, it is, but I'm kind of a engineering-y geek. I mean, engineering's my profession, so it appeals to me, strapping bits of rocket fuel onto things and seeing what flies and what blows up horrendously. So, as you can see, this other one over here was actually on the bright side at one point. I believe this moon doesn't spin in a synchronous orbit like the real moon does. Can you go rescue other rockets? Not with the default pack, but there are literally tons of mods for this game, and one of the mod packs is that you can get grabbers or lasers or guns, and you can shoot down debris or grab things. I thoroughly enjoy this game. Would I recommend it? It entirely depends on your interests. I mean, physics and all things like that interest me immensely. Not overcooking the time warp and ending up ploughing into the moon at high speed like I did earlier. I think that's the debris from it there. What is that? Oh no, that's Lander 4, so that can't have been it. Lander 5 must have been somewhere else, or it just crashed and exploded in such a horrendous heap that it doesn't show up. Yeah, you can download the demo, which is missing a lot of the parts for free. But it's missing like the lander legs and some of the smaller rockets and the space plane. There's plenty on there for you to be able to play around with rockets, and I think the moon's in it. I don't think Minmus is in it. But it's plenty to get started with and decide if it's the game for you or not. I mean, some people take it incredibly seriously and have space stations orbiting the planet with satellite arrays at specific locations, and you know, they've sat there with a textbook and a calculator and mathematically plotted where they want everything. Not saying it's Anorakish. I mean, I guess it kind of is. It's not something I would do, but whatever floats your boat. Other things like trying to establish geosynchronous orbit, which means that you're always over the same point on the planet at all times. So you've got to get the speed right. And okay, let's flip back to here. So that's thousands. So once we get to 50, I'm going to slow this down and start slowing the rocket down. Actually, now is probably a good plan. So let's slow this down. So this is my speed, this is my altitude, although the altitude isn't entirely accurate, so don't fully believe it. It's the altitude to the lowest point on the moon, which isn't necessarily the point you're landing on. If you run out of fuel, you're stuck. The poor little Kerbals are stuck there, which has already happened once before. Where's it gone? There's a set of Kerbals on this moon somewhere who are stuck here permanently. So yeah, people are talking about PlanetSide 2. I will be setting up a outfit in that. It will be Vanu and it will be on the European server. That will upset some people, I'm sure, but then again, that's the nature of that game, unfortunately. 3 factions, people are always going to take sides. Okay, let's kill that for a minute. So let's drop the legs down. This may be a little loud. For some reason this doesn't seem to follow the sound profile. It just does whatever volume it likes. As you can see, I really did go doubling up on the legs there. It's not subscription, it is free to play, but you can buy, much like League of Legends and stuff like that, you can buy boosters that will allow you to get XP at an increased rate, but it is free to play. It probably just means that you'll have to specialise a lot more. You'll have to pick a troop type and spend all of your points in it to make sure you maintain competitiveness with someone who has more points to spend. No, it won't be on Steam. It's a Sony game, so it'll be through their launchpad system most likely. Yeah, this is. I refined the design of the previous rocket, so it's not too dissimilar, but I've strengthened it in various places, added more legs. So what I'm trying to do at the moment is I'm slowly creeping us towards that central point, so I'm coming down vertical and not at an angle, which was the problem you saw me trying to correct last time, failing horribly and then sliding off to the side. Oh, going too fast. Let's line this up in the centre now. Okay, so that's nicely lined up. Turn RCS on to try and keep it in the centre. And now we can accelerate the time as we're descending fairly slowly. Maybe not that much. Ooh, you rushing up to meet me, planet. I need to be careful with this time compression thing. I'm still 10,000 meters up in the air, above the low point of the moon, which isn't necessarily here, but it's still a reasonable height. I'm off center slightly in terms of this displacement movement, so I need to pull this back towards the center. Come on, back you go, back you go. This looks like a very hilly bit of moon I've picked. Okay, time to throttle up, I think. We're starting to get towards the surface. where is the actual surface? There we go. So it's still a way up. I'm still far too high to cut the engine, as you can see. I want to slow it down just a little bit more. I want to be hitting like 2, maybe 1 meter per second. Come on, throttle up. This is the bit that I mess up. We're going down. I can't tell because the altimeter's broken. Yep, we appear to be going down. Here we go, there's the shadow. So now we have this really twitchy throttle that I just can't get to do what I want it to. Come on, down. There we go. Come on, down, 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 down. And we're down. And we've lost some legs. Wait for it. Are we still alive? Yes! This will explode in a second. So we lost 1, 2, 3 legs. We've lost 3 legs. But we are... I know we lost one on this side as well, so we lost 4 legs. But we are on the moon. As you can see, there's the other guys that landed on the moon, but they're actually stuck there. So to the guys who just came on and said, what did I miss? You missed the second successful landing of myself on the moon. You can see the planet over there. So, now to try and make a safe return. Kerbals look happy. We'll see if they agree after this. I don't need to screenshot. I've got video proof. Right. So, let's see how well this takes off with 4 missing legs. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we have wobbles. And gear up. And 2 of the gear won't go up. Okay. So what we're trying to do now is establish an orbit. Let's try and make it a 90-degree orbit again. I'm running out of fuel. What's going on there? Stop, 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 stop. Excellent. So I escaped the moon, maybe. Cannot warp faster while over terrain. So what's happening? We're still gaining altitude? Yes, we are. I probably want to flip round to boost towards the planet, but Still won't let me boost. I'm obviously too close to the moon here. So let's see what happens if I thrust up here. Good. Oh, slow down. There we go. So this is the orbit I want. Does it land in the planet? Let's have a look. Yes, it does. So this is a straight orbit back to the planet. But I can't fast forward at the moment because it's talking about me being over this. One thing I wanted to try was using the RCS thrusters to go vertically up, but I cannot remember the keys. I can remember left, right, forwards and backwards, but not up and down. Anyone have a clue what they are? I'm sure there's some Kerbal players in the chat somewhere. This stream normally starts at 8 PM British time, which is British Standard Time, which is 7 PM GMT. I normally link a clock, but I don't think I did this time in my announcements. The easiest way would be either follow me on Twitter or sign up to follow me on Twitch. Twitch should email you, or Twitter will broadcast a tweet whenever I go online. What on earth happens here? That's the moon escape, fine. Let's see. No, that landing gear there is most definitely broken. It's these ones I can do something with. Okay then. Let's it's not really helping. I have no idea what time zone WFT is. Have I ever returned before? Once, which is those guys you can see there, land a Lunar Mark IV. In that case, not only did most of the legs break off, I think a couple of the thrusters broke off as well, but it managed to limp back into orbit with a lot of spinning. So it says I can't walk because I'm over terrain. I suspect that's more to do with the legs being broken, though I guess the moon's not that far away. There's not much I can do to accelerate this, unfortunately. What else can you do apart from visit the moon? There is another moon slightly further out in a very odd as you can see, the orbit arcs. And this one has a very weak orbit, so trying to get into orbit with this one is very difficult. It's also very dark. I can't even get a good view on it. And very bumpy as well. The only person I've seen successfully do it, although I haven't looked around that much, didn't actually use rocket thrusters to control it. He used, if you look up here, you've got RCS thrusters. You've got some top and bottom. He had a tiny little ship which was basically just stacked up with these things, and he was using them to get there and back because it's so far away and its gravity is so weak that he can just do that. It was very impressive, actually. Oh, come on, let's see. Can I speed this up by throttling this way? No, that doesn't really help. Okay, I'm going to go for a risky manoeuvre here. I'm already set up to enter orbit. I'm thinking of just jettisoning, well, pretty much everything. Actually, we have a look at this. You can see some small orbital changes here. This is me using the RCS thrusters. So if I can work out what the button is for, there we go, for forwards. Okay, let's have a look at the planet, which I think is that way. No, it's away from the planet. I want the other way. So it is possible to steer your ship using the RCS thrusters. I've never really done it before. They're normally just there to stop rotation. You can see I'm definitely affecting the orbit here. It still won't let me... okay, so what drops off if I jettison? I can't remember what stages I set up. Let's move that up to there. Then that should just jettison these fuel tanks with the legs. Okay, let's try this. So away they go, spinning off into space in all directions. That's quite impressive. Little formation. So we now have the winged capsule of craziness. Which, yes, I can accelerate. Here we go. We're heading back towards the planet at rapid speed. Let's flip this around, set it up to retro, and see how much I can get out of these RCS fuel tanks. So you can see my speed's decreasing, not by a lot, but I do have 2 of these tanks to burn. So it's pulling this orbit in quite nicely. So as you can see, the sort of compressed air, if you like, just coming out of these. So you can do all sorts of directions. So it's useful if you want to move like next to something and lock onto it. Someone wants a barrel roll. Yep, I'm flying away from Earth to pull this orbit in, so I'm going slower, which means it's got less slingshot velocity. And it's Kerbal as opposed to Earth, but I'll continue to call it Earth. But anyway, let's accelerate this up a little bit. Oh, there's our little dispersal pattern of debris. It should all crumble back down to Earth. Actually, it's coming in with us. It seems to be going faster than we are as well. So to keep everyone happy, slow this down. Do a barrel roll. Although it looks more like a propeller turbine blade. I'm building the space helicopter because I'm thinking there's atmosphere out here. Clearly this will work well. Actually, I have a better idea. Let's flip this round. Aim at the planet. Oops, wrong way. Right. Where's Pyongyang? We're coming for you. You think you have nukes? We have space drills. Full speed ahead. Except it stops as soon as I let go, but... So let's just take a quick look at our splashdown site. Middle of the ocean, perfect. All the debris going there as well. I'm happy with this. Let's watch it as it comes in. So we're going in at 3,000 meters per second. Clearly nothing can go wrong here. I am going to flip this ship round. And we are going to thrust for our lives to try and reduce this speed, but it's not going to make any difference. So down we come, into the atmosphere. I'm going to jettison and deploy the parachute at 3,000 meters a second. I don't think this will work. Apparently we have the world's sturdiest parachute made from genuine pixie nylon string, I don't know, pixie wings, that'll do. Pixie wings parachutes. Stopping you from 3,000 meters a second, no problem. And this Kerbal is still loving this. This guy is clearly just drugged up. Speed doesn't matter. 3,000 meters a second pulling on some parachute cord. I think the ropes there would snap just a little once the air gets thick enough that it's actually able to do something to that parachute. I mean, obviously it is thin, and so it doesn't have the drag potential of thicker atmosphere lower down. But 3,000 meters per second is exceptionally fast. So we're landing on an ocean in the middle of nowhere, which is a much safer landing spot than the last lot picked. As you can see, they picked the middle of nowhere on land, and they were aiming for the biggest mountain they could find to try and slide down in a sort of skater style landing, but fortunately they managed to pick a small flat spot. And splash down with a nice little plop sound. So they can all sit in the top bit here now until it tilts over and they all drown. Yep, they're less than impressed with this. This is where a giant octopus comes up and just pulls it down and you never see it again. But anyway, in flight. So we had liftoff, we had separation. Decoupler was damaged by engine exhaust. So I had lots of damaged decouplers and tricouplers being burnt to a singe by those early stages. In fact, there's stacks and stacks and stacks of warnings about that. Okay, I'm still going. Still going. Still going. Seriously, I damaged my ship a lot, it seems. Really? Okay, we completely filled the log with me damaging things with engine exhaust. It ran out of space by the look of it. Let's look at this bit. So they spent 13 hours 47 minutes in space. They achieved 10 million meters as their highest altitude. Their highest speed would have been that return, which is 3,000 meters per second. Ground distance covered, 56 million miles. Total distance travelled, 29 million miles. Most G-force endured, 8.8 G. Am I going to talk about the new Total War? What do you mean, the Rome 2 Total War? Let's see if I can find the forum post. Dum da dum. There it is. So this is a German magazine that somebody's found called Gameplay, I think. And if you look down the list of previews, Total War Rome 2. Whether that's true or not, I haven't been following it at all slightly, but everyone seems thoroughly excited by it. So there's that for you. You didn't hear it here first, but there you go. So that's the end of Kerbal Space Program. Let me just check if the people are ready to do the other game. Somebody's sending me links and I don't know who they are, so I'll leave that for a minute. Right, it's Mr. Asd here. Let's get to that channel. Will I please livestream Pro Cycling Manager 12? No, I'm not. Okay, so that's the end of Kerbal. Now then, someone's still messaging me. Who's this? Alex Starney 1998 wants to say hello. Right, excuse me a moment while I get a drink. Right, so Pirates of the Burning Sea. What I'm going to do, don't panic, I am going to stop the live stream just quickly, change over my title so that it comes up with the right game, restart it up again. That allows me to keep it all segmented for when I upload it to YouTube later. I will be back, just bear with me for, the whole 20 seconds this process takes.